1-1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? Good to see you for the second time around. I hope you enjoyed that 12 and a half minute countdown. All right. Hey, before we start diving in and doing our normal chatting, I think what we should do is go ahead and hit the Vlog Pastors Podcast intro. What say you, Jarrod?
Roll it. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Welcome to the Vlog Pastors Podcast, a podcast all about the stories and strategies of sharing God's love in the digital world. Now, here are two pastors that love to put a camera in their face and walk around in public. They are the Corey Matthews and Shauna Hunter of Digital Ministry, Jarrod Brown and Joshua Verwers.
It is. Oh, it is.
You don't even know.
I do now, man.
We're just sitting here. You heard the intro, you heard it, and we're the Corey Matthews and Sean Hunter of Digital Ministry, and Jared's like, I don't even know who that is.
Who is that? Never mind.
Who is that? What is wrong with you, son?
Yeah, I'm back in action. I'm ready to go.
Come on, Boy Meets World.
Coffee. I need a little coffee up in here.
I think you do need a little bit more coffee. Oh, you know what I'm loving? Dude, we seriously have to. Hey, by the way, for those of you that are catching in and joining us here live, we are on YouTube right now, streaming on the interwebs to the World Wide Web through the platform that actually does all of the things that I want it to do and doesn't crash on me. Thank you, YouTube. This is the Vlog Pastors Podcast. I am Joshua Verwers, and this guy to my right, Jarrod Brown.
Right? Am I on your right or left? Oh, I'm on your right.
You're right there. Right there.
Hey.
I think I'm looking at you.
We do a high five? No? Are we talented enough? No, we're not.
I actually, out of the corner of my eye, it looked like it might have worked. I have no idea. But no, what we were doing, for those of you who are listening to the podcast replay, we live stream sometime on Thursday mornings.
Shooting for 10:30 right now, though, right?
Yes, I think right now we're aiming for 10:30. That's what it's going to be aiming for. I got a little in my head, and I was a little sleep deprived from editing way too late last night, trying to get my vlog up this morning. And because of that, I was still on old time, thinking it was 10. So I was like rushing, trying to get around. And then all of a sudden, I had to relax for a couple minutes. So it was good. And then I got the lovely Brown banter in listening to Jarrod set up with Jessica in the background.
Oh, my goodness. Don't get me started.
No, that wife
today.
of yours, she is amazing.
She's a pistol, isn't she?
She is absolutely amazing. So much fun to listen to.
Yes, that is my yes.
And the fact that she was just continually ribbing you and getting under your skin, talking about how, it was oversaturated and the contrast was way too hard. It's like,
she has no idea what those words mean, by the way. She's just mouthing off.
No, I think she does. She has enough knowledge of it just to know that she's using it in the wrong manner.
That's so true.
So it's good stuff. But we had our intro running, which, by the way, I have got to get some more of those little descriptors. So for you guys that are in the stream watching us, we've done a bunch of these. Actually, we're on episode 14. This is Vlog Pastors Podcast, episode number 14. So I think we've had like 13 or 14 of those descriptors, where we've been the Bert and Ernie, we've been the Han Solo and Chewbacca, we have been the Batman and Robin. And today we were the Corey Matthews and Sean Hunter, and Jarrod had a brain fart, and he forgot what Boy Meets World was.
It happens.
Which Henry is calling you out. You don't know Boy Meets World. Wow. I need to check your life choices. So, and that's one of the other things for those that join us in the live stream when we do this Thursday mornings. You're able to be a part of the conversation, be a part of Vlog Pastors Podcast, because we will feature your comments on there. If I so choose, I am the gatekeeper when it comes to comments. If I like them, I like them. If I don't, I don't. Normally, I would sit there and say, Micah, for putting 10:55 is when we started. That is still Thursday morning-ish.
Heavy on the ish.
Yes, and I do apologize. Yes, I do apologize for the technical difficulties this morning. Essentially, I think what we had, new studio, by the way, for those of you guys that didn't see,
Doesn't
check
that look
this
great?
out. Check
Come on,
this
look
out.
at that thing.
New studio, new vlog on the channel today as well, so you can check that out, and it'll give you a little bit of behind the scenes on how we got this all set up. Ooh, wait, do I have? Oh no, wait, hold on. My mic boom arm. It was cutting off some of the wrestlers' legs.
Oh, can't have that.
So I was like, what is going on there? Oh, so
I
new
want to see what the
studio.
story is on that little pineapple thing. I saw it in your thumbnail, but I haven't gotten a chance to watch the video yet.
So
I see it back there, though.
we do a little bit on there. It'll also have a little bit more. It's got its name or names. And so that is one of those things. Logan is in the chat. He's calling it the plant, and Logan can give the names if he wants to give the names. Otherwise, we'll have to wait and hold that for a future vlog. But yes, it was part of that. I needed to buy a plant because I heard that when you do a studio setup, you got to have a little bit of greenery in it.
Little love fern in there.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Jared? Do you have?
I mean,
should you?
Yeah, should have lots of greenery in your setup. Mine's a darker, moodier setup anyway, so I probably a little green plant right here wouldn't go so well.
I don't know. I'm thinking a little green plant right up there by the cameras. Although maybe a little
Right up
green
here?
plant. Yeah, right there. Right there. I think that would be perfect. So that way when you like dip down low, it's going to look like it's coming out of your head. That would
Nice.
that would be the fun one.
No, I'm all about lights, man, right now. Obviously, I'm experimenting with different light schemes. So sometimes I like blue, sometimes I'm doing some green. Got some starry background right here. I see my 130s. They needed some stars to be flying in amongst.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's mandatory. Look at
I
this
think
right
so.
here. I'm thinking.
I
thinking
do
about bringing
like
them-
those.
I have those little fairy lights. They actually wrap around my office here, but I'm thinking about bringing them and kind of concentrating them behind.
Are those just like Christmas lights essentially?
No, they're little
What are they?
fairy lights. I bought an
I
extra.
have no
set of
idea what a
these.
fairy light is. I
It's-
don't even
it's
know
a
what a plant
copper-
is.
It's a copper wire, and every so often there's a little LED diode, and it has a remote. I'll show you. It has a little remote, and you can do different settings and whatnot. But why I got it, this is proof of concept. When you go to a shoot and there's a dull background and you're in the middle of some office building and they want to shoot a quick interview, and you're like, meh, you can toss these things up in the background and it looks fantabulous.
Nice.
Gives a little texture, a little color.
Nice. I'm in here. I've got to be playing with the lighting. I mean, if you're watching this, you can see I'm a little pale and washed out just a hair. It's actually pretty close. I mean, when I look at my arms, it's pretty close to my skin color. Maybe just a little washed out. But I got these two nice windows right over here. One there, one there. I'm getting some nice natural light on.
So no soft boxes anymore. Are you finished with those?
Well, I have the softbox running, and it's reflecting off the ceiling because I didn't want the heat on me. So it's there, but this corner in this setup, it's tight in here because I wanted to give enough depth behind me, and because of that, I would have this thing within arm's reach of me. And as you know, and anybody that runs any type of video knows, when you get those soft boxes and they're like right on you, hey, it may be a soft light, but it's a lot of heat.
It's a lot of heat.
Lot of heat.
It's a lot of heat about that far away from your face.
It is. So I was like, no, not going to do that. And I also think that light, for one, just gives a weird tint. And I didn't realize this till you and I were talking last week. You were talking about a couple different lights that you have and how they each play with the color a little bit. And newsflash to me, I had no idea that it can do that.
I didn't either until I got them, man.
Yeah. Well, and then it was funny because right after we had that conversation, apparently YouTube knew what I needed because it was right after that.
They always do.
Right after that, I was watching a video. Oh, man, and I can't even remember who it was. Oh no,
Mon-
it was
Met Capoya.
no, Tilder.
Lincoln.
You know, Tilder. Too long didn't read.
Yeah.
So I was watching his review, and he broke down like 3 different LED panels, and was showing where the skin colors come out on those lights as well as the others, and I was like, what? Yeah. So that was quite interesting to me, which means after watching that, I'm definitely going to be going with some LEDs.
It's definitely a thing, man. You kind of got to watch them a little bit, because my aperture one gives a little bit more of a pink, kind of a warmer glow, and I have to compensate in camera with this one. This one's the Godox, whatever, SW60 or something, the 120 killer, whatever they call it.
Yep.
And this one's more green, so I have to in camera set it to warm up skin tones.
Yeah, and I saw him do a review on those two, and they're really close, but their colors do kind of shift a little bit, but still really close. I mean, as compared to like this little Studio Pro softbox that, yeah, it's a great budget setup for you, especially if you got some distance, and it works. I mean, it really works great. All of my videos up to this point have been lit with this thing. All of my thumbnails are pretty much shot with this thing, but it's hot. So when you're thinking about doing a live stream like this, ain't no way.
That's step number 1 in my checklist after plugging in the Ethernet cable that I forget all the time, is turning the air conditioner down way down low.
Yeah,
it needs to snow.
For sure. Hey, should we get to some of these comments here?
Let's do it.
All right, let's see. We have got Bite a Brownie in the house. That's saying, me. Do over, mulligan. That is exactly what it was. Hey, if you guys haven't subscribed to a Bite a Brownie's channel, do it. There's something wrong with you if you haven't. The Dude Rocks saying, no problem. I'll just re-hit the like again. Dude Rocks, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
You rock, dude.
It was actually your comment that let us know that there was something wrong with my stream, because my chat went down. My PC lost internet connection, and it was because of me. So no Diana Gladney hopping in here saying, oh, Mac is greater than PC. No, Mac is a crippled horse that can only do a few things well. So
they do it well.
Yeah. Micah saying, hi, and I love the song. It's a unicorn and a chick. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I love it. Yes, there was Trey Van Camp. Love the new studio. He was actually the first one to chat in on the previous one and saying 2 videos in one day. You rock. Dennis Poulette saying it is the SpongeBob plant. It looks like it, but it's not. Logan is saying hashtag best plant name ever. Logan, if you're going to keep teasing them with hashtag best plant name ever, and we're going to keep dancing around it, you're going to have to actually disclose what the plants names are. And then John Hayes saying,
I think we got to know.
If you guys are the Corey and Sean of digital ministry, Trey Van Camp is actually Minkus, and Jason Mayfield really Mr. Feeney. Ooh. Okay, so Trey and Jason go start a fight with John Hayes. But I will not disagree with that whatsoever. I'm just wondering who's Topanga. Because Boy Meets World was really just the Topanga show. That's what it was. Diana Gladney. There it is. Diana Gladney. She's Topanga. So this is all her world, and we're just living in it. We have gone off the rails.
Off the rails.
We have gone off the rails. So yes, the issues that we had this morning. Moved this over, and in part of moving this studio from one side of the house to the other, and it's not like there's just a doorway to come through here, I had to do a full circle all the way around the house. That means all of the internet has to move as well, and it's temporarily patched together, maybe with cables draped through my living room and bedroom and hallway. Maybe.
Nice.
I've got them tucked away, so at least the dogs aren't running scared every time they trip over one. But that's kind of the way it is.
He says from experience.
Yes. So we've got that set up this way, but I needed high-speed internet. I mean, I'm putting out 1080p quality. I could be doing 4K, and at some point we may consider doing that. But right now, 1080p. And as we tested just beforehand, I've got, when I'm streaming straight to YouTube, there's like a 5-second delay tops. Because I'm pushing it out that fast, and I know I can give them sustainable quality. The problem is I've got one Ethernet cable running to a Mac and a PC, and I had to switch from one to the other. And then in switching that, for some reason, my little Wi-Fi USB adapter didn't want to turn on the PC. And I think it's probably because I unplugged it accidentally when I was transferring files from editing over here. I pulled the wrong thumb drive out. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I was going to say, sure. Sure, Josh.
It just doesn't have any internet. I checked, and it says there's no connection and no Wi-Fi available. I'm like, no Wi-Fi available. No Wi-Fi available. I look at this thing, and it says I got Wi-Fi. It says I am hooked up to Kofi Kingston right now. So that is what I am. Wrestling. There's a wrestler called Kofi Kingston. So we named our Wi-Fi network Kofi Kingston. At least one of the 3 networks.
I'm out on the wrestling jokes. You guys.
How about the one that I've got named? What's the other one? It's the Promised Land. No D. Just Promised Land.
Nice.
Yeah. And I can't remember the third one. It's like bigger on the inside, I think is what it is. Yeah, bigger on the inside. It's a Doctor Who reference.
Out on Doctor Who as well.
I'm losing
Sorry, man.
you. Nope.
Yeah, I'm out.
Fine. I think the next one I name is going to be like, I love you 3000 hertz.
Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm back in. All right.
Now we got one. We got one.
Headset's down. I'm ready to rock.
Yes. So, Jarrod, what's going on with you? I mean, you see what's going on with me. I got this new studio and stuff, but what's going on with you?
Yeah, man. Probably multifaceted here. As every week, I'm still in video production pretty heavily. That's taking over more and more and more of my time and energy. And I noticed this last week, I need to make a YouTube video for my channel because of you wonderful people, the folks who are subscribed over at my channel. I feel like an internal obligation to make sure I produce something. But I get to going throughout the week, and it's like I have people who have paid me money, sometimes lots of money, to make them pretty videos and pretty pictures and advertise their businesses or brands. And that seems to take precedence. And so right now, I've got a few different clients on, full blast demanding some stuff. Not demanding, they're nice people, but They need their stuff out. And so that's taken front seat. So anyway, kind of working on videos all the time, still doing the church thing. And then I have gotten this week in my 2 nuggets of free time, like right before you go to bed, I pop on the old YouTube, and I've been watching these riots, man. And I don't want to go serious or anything. I'm just gonna dip my toe in the water and say I got sucked into like what used to be mainstream media, but now it's like little YouTube snippets. YouTube has dialed me in to all of the rioting going on in Portland and floating coffee and there you go. I've been watching all the riots and stuff in Portland and Seattle and everything, and dude, that's why I came on the vlog or the podcast this morning a little salty. So what's going on in Jarrod's world? I am working like crazy on video production, and then on the side I'm watching riots and wondering if the world is melting down just a little bit, a little piece. Other than that, doing good.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine.
6 o'clock.
So yeah, okay, 2 things. One, as far as riots go, I have been so busy, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, zero idea. You said riots, and I'm like...
Just don't.
Are we talking like 80s pop?
No, just don't.
Is it a quiet kind?
Continue on about your peaceful life.
Okay.
Go.
So I have no idea what you're talking about there. 2, you mentioned making a YouTube video.
Yes.
Yes, you need to make a YouTube video. However, I think you're wrong in why. You said, and I know you well enough that I'm just going to say this, not even for your sake, but for the other creators that are out there. They're thinking the same thing. I have this internal obligation that I have to do this for my audience. Wrong motivation.
Sure.
It
it's not
should
a very good
be,
motivator.
You know what? I have to create because I was created by my creator to be creative. And I just need to create. And I need to create something that comes from here that is God-birthed rather than creating something that came from somebody else that they're paying me to do. That is creative outlet.
So, in theory, true. So here's the deal. Yes, you're right. No, you are right. And
Yes.
at its purest form, create that. That's the thing. Whenever your skin crawls, if you don't create something, you've got to get it out there because you're a creative person. But what if you are hired to, on one side of the spectrum, you're hired to do that, to create for people, and they're going to pay you money to do it, and you get to make beautiful things, and you get to bless people, you get to help friends out. It's fun and a half. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
That's not the work side of it. But on the YouTube side of it, last week, and fair enough, look, it was a memory that Jesse and I are basically capturing and storing on YouTube. It's not the most polished production side of things. It drags. It's a family memory of our yes day.
Mm-hmm.
But you put it up for a handful of folks to see it. And They value it, some, and go on about their day. Leave their comments, do whatever it is that they do. But your other stuff that you're making for money, thousands of people see.
Right.
And really cherish it and put their money behind it and their beliefs behind it sometimes. And it's a lot more rewarding. So when you're looking at it throughout a week, you're going, do I have time to be creative and make money? Yep. Do I have time to be creative for the channel? Not this week.
Yeah. And it's that for those creatives out there, whether it be video production, whether it be photography, whether it be painting, whether it be writing, whether it be whatever type of a creative thing that you do, there's something about creating for somebody else when you are given creative freedom, because all they're saying is, I want you to do something, and I would like it to lead to this result. That type of creative freedom and creative expression is huge, because then you can just run with it. I think back when, I was working for the marriage ministry, and so I had some creative freedom on some of the videos that I did for them, and others I had like no creative freedom. They said, this is what we want, and it needs to look like this, and it needs to sound like this. Did they come out great? Yes. Did I like them as well? No. The ones that I had that creative freedom just to kind of run with and try to showcase and promote them from my perspective and my creativity, so much more rewarding. And that during that time, I didn't feel like creating anything for this channel because I was fulfilled. I was already doing that. Yeah. And even like sermons. I mean, we sit there and we can do this with our sermons. When we're preaching, we'll go through, and a lot of times it can feel for a lot of ministers, a lot of pastors, that you're creating this for them. I've got to feed the sheep. I've got to feed my flock. I've got to feed my congregation. And while all of that is true, that can be stifling at some point. I think, which is why a lot of ministers need sabbaticals. They need that time to take off and really rest and reflect and recharge.
That's a really good point, Josh, because I know in preaching, if I'm preaching with that in mind, with I need to feed, I've got to do this, I need a word for Sunday for the people, God, say something, show me, whatever. I know that I've gotten off track, and like you're saying, I've got the wrong motives, engaged. I'm trying to work something out in the flesh, and I'm not being nourished and sustained and out of the overflow of a relationship and what he's showing in my sharing. And I think that's a good takeaway for the channel as well, or for work in general. It's like, wait a minute, like you're saying with the YouTube deal. It's like maybe business is in proportion, maybe ministry is in proportion, but the YouTube thing is out of sorts right now because it does feel a lot like labor.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get it done.
Yeah, and I've gone through that where there are, I mean, I do a lot of sermons that is straight for my congregation. And it's because you can say that this is a spirit-led thing, and some would say it's spirit-led thing. Others would say this is natural thinking. I have a hard time separating the two a lot of the times, because if I'm hearing what the Spirit is saying, then I'm picking up on things not just in the spiritual, but in the natural. And so there are observations that I'm able to make from looking at my congregation and saying, you know what, they really need something on this or on that. And I'll do, teaching series sermons on those topics, those issues, and sometimes those Bible books, that they're just less knowledgeable about. And so we'll dive into this. But I've found, for me personally, a lot of the sustainability for preaching week in, week out is letting that come from the overflow of what God is already doing with me, and just saying, hey, if it's good enough that he gave it to me, it's good enough for them as well. And so I just typically try to stay one or two steps ahead of my congregation. It's like, I don't need to have my
I'm with you,
PhD and stuff. I'm just going to stay a couple steps ahead of them. And so
I'm with you, because otherwise you end up reheating stuff that you like. God hits you with something, it shapes and changes your life and your perspective on things. And why not share it while it's fresh? It's a fresh meal, fresh and hot out the kitchen. I mean, give it a little bit to mull it over, kind of work out some of the kinks, but it's pretty fresh. You're still jazzed about it, rather than going, oh yeah, what was that 3 months ago that happened? That the Lord, I mean, it's still in here, but let's dig it back up and reheat some stuff.
And I wonder if a lot of times we as ministers, we hesitate to do some of that type of teaching because we think it needs to be fully thought out.
Right.
And it needs to be perfected. Now, we would never use those terms, but that's the thinking that we have. And it's one, arrogant thinking, like we could ever perfect a thought. And two, it also kind of starts to quench what the Spirit is trying to say to the people at a given time. Again, like you said, I don't think the first thought that comes in, we should immediately do it. We need to be testing it. We need to be examining it by scriptures, put it out there and say, to the best of my God-given ability and by his leading, this is the message I have for you. And full well understanding that a year from now, we may not agree fully with what we said, and we may need to rehash this and clarify a little bit on it. And I think there's a lot of freedom that comes with that. I also think that there's a lot of respect that earns with our congregations too, because it shows that, one, we're humble enough to say, I don't have it all figured out, but here's what I know. And then the other thing is, it also shows that we have this intense care for the scripture in such a way that we know that knowledge is kind of progressive, and we're going to grow in knowledge. We're going to grow in that wisdom. And that means what I know now won't be what I know a year from now. When I pull this into kind of like what we were talking with the YouTube studio and the creative aspect, that's where I'm thinking, some of the projects that I know you do, I know some of them, you do have that creative freedom, and you're just given kind of, hey, we want you to showcase, we want you to highlight us. And then all of a sudden, those wheels, that creative mind gets spinning, and it's like, okay. And then it is very rewarding at that. One, because there is the acknowledgement of it and the people are finding it, but two, it's also because you've just expressed yourself in that creative fashion. But I think you would also say that those where you don't have as much creative freedom, those are the ones that it's like, I never want to produce another video for another person again.
Yep, when you're on your 7th revision and you're like, wait, the first one was my best shot. So
And I've thought for a while now. I still don't understand this completely, but I have people that continually tell me I have a great sounding voice. And it gets me thinking, hey, maybe I should start doing some voiceover work. And then all of a sudden I'm like, but then I have to deal with clients and make stuff for them.
Yeah.
And then I would have to deal with revisions. And I think the only way I could do that is if I had like a Jason Mayfield for my customer service representative. Which means they get no interaction. It's like, you send me the script, I'm going to do it the way that I see fit. And if you don't like it, well, too bad. That's what you get. And I don't think that's a good business model.
I think you and Jason, I don't know that I guess Trey is through teaching and whatnot. Trey, you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but I think you guys are pushing into a more complete package, a freer state of being able to cohesively express yourself through video rather than this whole video production side of thing. Because, yes, I get to highlight certain ministries, and that's fun for me, but it's being spread too thin because you're working on a totally separate video where you guys are working on possibly course content, possibly a vlog, possibly a sermon, and they could all be shared cross-pollinating one another whilst making money, eventually through merch, through your audience, through whatever you guys choose to do, selling of digital products or courses or whatever. I like what you guys are setting up right now. I think if I were to go back in time and do it again, I would probably press more into that region. But right now, it's like there's money on the table.
Oh, well,
it's hard to pass her up.
I get it. I get it. When there's money on the table, it is very hard to pass up. I've done that a time or two. I've actually done it recently, been contacted by a few people asking if I would be at all interested in video editing for them. No. Isn't
that weird though? This is where we differ a little bit. I think we can highlight it, is that like, it's not all about the money, guys.
Yeah.
So you get to working with these people and they recommend you to their friends. First of all, they're good people because you took them on early on in the beginning and it was a value product that you wanted to produce for them. And then they show you their friends who have an even better cause and an even more impactful message that they want to share. And you have to start choosing like, man, am I going to tell the children no? Think of the children. How are we supposed to not make this product? Where you go, look, ain't got time. You got the resources for it? No.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and even actually, Jason Mayfield saying, I asked him to edit my videos. I forgot about that, but you did. Now, honestly, Jason would be one of the only ones that I would consider if he weren't putting out so much content, because he would be working me to the bone. Although, I mean, he's got it. This is the other thing. I think when there's the creative vision that kind of lines up, it's a little bit easier. But time. And that's, to me, time is the most important commodity. You don't get any more of that. I can make more money. I can't make more time. And so I look at this with my analytical brain. I do a cost benefit analysis. How much time is it taking me? What is my time worth? And then is that value for this worth all of that? So I've done that with our church's sermons and uploading them. Is it worth my time to edit them and produce them and then distribute them in a video format? No. Not when I'm preaching live and then trying to record it, then trying to edit it, and then get it put up.
Right.
And part of that is because I have this bar that I have set. Nobody else has set, but I've set this bar of quality. And if it doesn't come within that range, it just ain't going to happen.
I'm hanging my head in shame right now. I'm really sorry, Josh.
I
need to admit to you something.
What?
Okay, this is real talk right here. I started going live on my cell phone in church from like,
I don't care,
15 feet away. No, I'm just saying. It was the
Wait,
thing
did you at least have a mic hooked up?
No, I didn't. And I'm not gonna. I know. I'm breaking every last it.
You've got the
grates on
Pico
me
mic, don't you?
to the core of my being. It grates on me, but they love it.
Don't you have the Pico
And
mic?
I just don't have to set it. I do. I don't have to set it up. I don't have to mess with it, whether it's working, whether it's engaged, whether it's picking up or anything like that, whether it's interacting with the cell phone. I have to tape it off to the light pole. Nah, not gotta do none of that. You know why? Somebody else does it. I tell you what, every time I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this. This rates on my production quality. But my folks, here's the deal. My folks said, we don't care. We just want to be in the service together. I'm like, I cannot guarantee sound. I cannot guarantee that you'll hear me, that you'll see me, that we're even going to be pointed in the right direction. I hate everything about this. They said, yep, do it anyway, please. Have somebody do it. Could somebody set up a phone? So I got my little Gorilla Pod, and not even Gorilla Pod, slammed up on a light stand with a little cell phone holder, vertical, from 10
Not
to
even
15
using
feet
your
away.
GoPro?
From 10 to 15 feet away, and we live stream that bad boy.
Okay, so for those that are watching, you're seeing this utter disdain in my face.
Woo! Hey, confession time. Feels good to get it off the chest.
This disdain is not for people that use cell phones to stream.
Liberating.
That's
It's
not it. What is it?
It's liberating. I
No,
feel good.
no.
Keep going.
This disdain I have for what Jarrod is speaking of is not a disdain for what he is doing. It's because he is doing it, and he has the equipment and the know-how to do it better, and is willfully choosing not to.
That's the whole value exchange that you were talking about. So,
But how long, seriously, how
How many-
long will that take you to set up?
to set up the way that I do it, to set up multicam,
No,
to
no.
make sure that you can hear, to do
Not
Pico
even to do
mic.
that, but just to make sure that you don't have to do multicam. Like if you just did, okay, is your cell phone at least in landscape?
No, vertical.
Oh, for the love of all that is holy, Jarrod Brown, what is wrong with you?
Because I did it on purpose to say, look, this is gonna suck, and it's not as good, and it is not as good. Our worship leader was out of town this week, so we had a fill-in guy. It was a kid. He did an amazing job, led us in worship, and I asked him. I said, Jason, man, you tuned in online. What's it like to be online, viewing it like it is? And he says, man, you kind of get the gist of it. You can feel the spirit of it, which is the most important thing. You can tell God is with us. We are being fed, but the production is horrid. Why would anybody? I can see why people would do it.
Hey, here's the
put
thing.
it up.
I'm all for that CBA, the cost benefit analysis. Let's make the most of our time.
Okay.
But we are talking for you to take the quality that you have. Let's say here's where you're at. Here's where you would normally be. For you to get to here would take you 10 minutes tops.
On a Sunday morning? No. Look,
It
all you
really
pastors out
wouldn't
there,
take
all
that
you small
long.
church lead pastors out there, you know what's going on. The computer's not working. The overhead, what's
From
that called?
your
The
phone.
projector has come out of the ceiling for some reason. There's audio issues going on. You're fighting all of those things. Whilst you got there early so that you could pray because it's the main thing's the main thing, but you ain't praying because everybody showed up early so they could worship and they could see you and they could pray with you. And then you're talking about mask and stuff and you're saying, hang on just a second, I need to get this set up because somebody forgot to do the words. Oh yeah, hold on, let me go do that. Let me set up this cell phone that I don't even want to. Hold on, this is for the live. 1 second. Hold on. Doing things with the Pico mic ain't happening. Ain't happening.
No, so it really.
Anyway,
those are
all
excuses.
stupid.
All you would have to do is
I don't
take
wanna
your
do it.
phone, turn it sideways, get one of those little rubber snappy thingamajiggers for the Pico mic on the side of it. Take the cable that came with the Pico mic that goes straight into your cell phone. Throw that little clip on you. Now you have better audio. It's already going to be decent video because it's a cell phone camera, and you put it at least in landscape so they can get a big picture if they're watching on their computer.
I love playing devil's advocate with Josh. Look at him get all riled up. No, actually, what we're actually literally doing is the cell phone is probably, as far as the camera is from me right now. Joshua's got me punched in a little bit, but an arm's length away. Audio's still bad, but I don't have to worry about somebody breaking the Pico mic off the side of it, which it still has to be connected to it. I don't have to worry about running cables. So it's here to there. They go with me. There's so few people in service right now anyway because of all the COVID stuff going on. You're part of the audience, but you just happen to be in my face.
I understand.
I confess, I'm doing it all wrong too, buddy.
I get what you're saying. And yes, in this COVID pandemic that is just ever fluctuating and nobody has any idea what is going on, I get making some concessions. But Jarrod, you know better. So it's like, that's where it's like, you could easily do that with just a few minutes. And you've got people that are coming that could do it for you with the little bit that you have to do. Say, hey, plug this cable like this into this, and then push this button. And once I'm up there, push this button. That's it. And so you could do that. And trust me, you've got people that can do that. You know how I know you have people that can do that? My 80 plus some year old grandma, I have no idea how old she is because it would require brain to think. But my 80-year-old grandma figured out how to not only run her Roku by herself, how to then get into the YouTube app, find our church service every Sunday morning, and then was able to figure out how to do it on weeknights when I was doing the Read the Bible with me. If she can figure that out, you've got people at yours that can figure it out. And that's not saying that my grandma's not smart enough to figure it out. That's just saying that whole adage of, oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Oh, yeah, you can if you incentivize them enough. And I guarantee if you want to incentivize the older congregations, all you have to do is convey the reason why and the impact it's going to make. And when you start telling them, us doing this is going to get the word of God into our people, that should be enough motivation. And then they'll jump on it and they'll be like, oh, yeah, absolutely, no problem. So you've got the people that can do it. I'm saying you can do it. My mom is scolding me and saying, Josh, leave my Jarrod alone.
Deb, it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna be okay. No, I know. Here's the thing.
I like throwing shame at your way. Shame on you.
Yeah, luckily Teflon on this one. No, I know. Don't want to, but I know. But I would like to say, to bring in Jason Mayfield's video. He made a video about why I'm not going to pay off my house or something like that. Did you happen to watch that Facebook video yesterday? And I mentioned it to say he was mind blown, by the way. Mind blown. I have a couple questions for him that I'll ask him later, but mind blown.
Yep.
So what he was doing, though, was he was taking out strategic long-term thinking.
Yes.
And what is the benefit over 30 years? And what's the long-term stuff? And I don't know that that I've done that well enough. I've been putting out fires. I'm very much hey, this video needs to be done. I've got this client. I've got this needs to go on for the church. And kind of to your point, what you were saying is I need to be investing in or looking at what the yields are for some of these things that take a little bit longer, but that will pay off more in the long term.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't had a chance to check out that video or Jason Mayfield on Facebook, I think did you do it to YouTube?
I think it was just on Facebook that I saw. I didn't see it on YouTube.
Man, excellent video. I just happened right place, right time. He was on. It was like boom, there we go.
Oh, and I loved it because Jason Mayfield is a fan of the Dave Ramsey system, and Dave Ramsey would essentially say, hey, pay off your mortgage as quick as you can. But
Dave Ramsey didn't highlight me, so he ain't getting none of this love.
But Dave Ramsey, for a couple different reasons. One, he's typically not speaking to an audience that has the cash flow that Jason Mayfield and his wife do, which isn't to say that what he's saying doesn't apply to those of us who may not have that cash flow. It's saying that he's trying to hit people and meet their needs. And like any good person out there, if you're really trying to help somebody, you need to give them a benefit at their pain point. And that's what Dave Ramsey's doing. He's doing right at their pain point. Jason Mayfield's pain point is down the road.
Right.
And that's where we will have that pain point, all of us, down the road. Jason's just has enough foreknowledge and forethought to sit there and say, this. We're not going to do it because this. And have you ever thought about this? And as soon as he said that, it was like, duh.
Yeah.
Duh. It
was interesting
brilliant.
enough of a conversation that last night when we were walking, Jesse and I, like, we're still talking about it. It was like, we really need to, not just finances, really need to take a look around our life and go, okay.
Yeah.
Pain point now, like you're talking about, versus future payoff.
Well,
there's a way to alleviate both, which I think is what he was getting at.
Yeah, and we can look at this from a vlog pastor perspective. Look at vlogging, look at pastoring. How is the content we're doing going to help people in their pain points? And here's one of the things. I think a lot of churches are doing things wrong when it comes to the digital age. I think a lot of YouTubers, vloggers are doing things wrong as well. And it comes with the titles. So in churches, we have this.
Dude, I hate these things. Okay, this is where the work of YouTube comes in, that you guys just find it so easy to do. This is my current.
I'm going to simplify this.
Bring it.
I'm really going to simplify this for sermon ideas. And once I think you wrap your mind around this from sermon ideas, it's going to be easier for you to wrap your mind around this in YouTube video vlogging ideas.
Educate. So
okay,
let's do it.
So, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. If I give you this breakdown and you say, "No, I'm still confused." Okay, well then I failed. But I'm pretty confident in this because it makes sense to me. So
let's do it. Let's have it.
So you want these to have a longevity, right? You want your videos to have longevity.
Evergreen.
You want your sermons to have longevity.
Evergreen, yes.
And we realize scripturally that there is nothing new under the sun, that everything rolls in cycles, and we just keep coming around. So what happens with our sermons is we have this idea that we're going to create catchy titles that have absolutely nothing to do with actual content. And it's not stuff that people would actually search for. And so when people have a pain point, what are they doing? They're searching, looking for relief.
You've been talking to Diana Gladney.
Part of this actually comes from Dave Adamson, Aussie Dave Adamson, who's social media pastor for North Point Church, which is Andy Stanley's church. And they have done this shift, I think it was a year and a half, 2 years ago, where they got away from the cute titles for their sermon messages, and all of a sudden they went to searchable titles. And so what they would do, and here's the easy way to do it. For a sermon, you're creating a sermon, and most of your messages are answering a question. It's posing a question and answering a question inside there. And if it's not directly answering a question, then what it is doing is it is explaining a topic. And so the easiest thing to do is, let's say I'm doing a series on prayer. You could explain it by saying, what is prayer? That is a searchable term. And all of a sudden, your title for your sermon is called, What is Prayer? And then you're uploading that to social media. Guess what? When people 5 years down the road are typing in, what is prayer? They're going to find it. Now, maybe
if
somebody...
it's ranked in the top 6 videos and it's not under
as
the
people find
2.5
it.
million.
But here's the other thing. I've actually been finding a lot of Christian videos that are not ranked, because those that are using those ranking and they're ranked, it's because they're a popular channel, but they're not actually answering it. And what I'm finding is you drop farther down and you're finding these smaller ministries that they're actually answering the question that you typed in to ask. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you see a sermon that are like, hey, you know what, we're going to, like one of them I did this, how to pray. And this is back when I think I did, last year, it was like a challenge that I did, and I did a vlog on how to pray. And I was looking up, are there any videos out there? Because I thought that would just be a great searchable title. And there's another thing, how to pray. Well, if you're doing a series on the Lord's Prayer, why not how to pray? And then if it's something specific, say you're taking the Lord's Prayer and there's like 7 parts to it. If you break those, actually you can make as many parts as you want, I suppose. But if you're breaking each one of those down into a different week, how to pray, and then God is our Father. So you do something like that. Or His will on earth as it is in heaven. But it's starting off with how to pray. So when people are looking and how to pray, and they're like, I'm trying to figure out how to pray more effectively, or it could even be how to pray, the Lord's Prayer, and then whatever. That's going to help with, I think, our sermons and what we're putting on there to make sure that it has a little bit more longevity for a couple different reasons. One, it gives people the ability to search. Two, just this week, I had somebody reach out to me and they're like, hey, have you ever like done a video or maybe a sermon on how to hear God's voice? I'm like, yeah, but I couldn't tell you where it's at because I used cute titles. It's like, so now I can't even find that. I don't know where that's at. And this is especially hard for small churches and smaller ministries. Because a lot of the bigger ministries, when they're cataloging this stuff, they'll put in tags and metadata, and they've got spreadsheets, and they've got systems in place to be able to do all that. For us, it's kind of a one-man shop, and the easiest way to do it is just start off with the title, and that's typically what people are going to find. Does that make sense at all for church world?
Again, in theory, yes, I like it. I like it a lot. In theory, it does. I'm thinking through that exact thing in practicality. It doesn't necessarily, at least for me, and there's things that I still need to learn on this. I have a 3-part series on hearing the voice of the Lord. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Hearing the voice of the Lord. Plus the exact thing that you were talking about. I think it's got like maybe 40 to 60 views. Heavy hitters right there. Not saying, I guess what I'm getting at is I'm missing something. I'm missing the thumbnail title, the work of YouTube type of deal. But
right.
Let's work through one in real time. I've got you the pain point for a video that I'm making that will probably not be released tomorrow, but Lord willing in the very near future. And the pain point is, I've written down right here. What's the pain point? And my pain point is I'm not getting enough B-roll. The concept of the video is I went on a shoot. I want to get this amazing footage for the client. I'm not getting it, but I know that I'm supposed to be there. The Lord wants me to be there. So I'm not getting enough I'm not confident in the B-roll that I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the title of said video?
So the title of said video, you're not getting enough B-roll.
I'm not getting the good quality stuff. I'm sent on a mission. I'm sent on purpose. I know I'm supposed to be there. I'm filming for the client that God has led me to. I know He's going to show up and do what He does. But I'm here to film, and as I go to push play on the camera, it ain't good. The footage that I'm getting, the interviews that I'm getting, it ain't good. The B-roll that I'm getting ain't good.
So what it could be,
floating coffee hand. You're welcome.
The floating coffee hand every single time.
Guarantee.
So, how to shoot B-roll?
Which is searched 0 times, or if you do how to shoot or how to film better B-roll, you run into Peter McKinnon, David Schiffer.
Yep. And you know what happens when? Here's the thing. A lot of these search terms, people are trying to find the search terms and they're looking for something specific. And you can even see this when you are searching for things, you don't know the exact term. How many times have you done that where you've hopped on Google and you're like,
11 billion.
Right. I know what I want, but I don't know how to word it. I don't know what the best way is of wording this to get to what I want. So what you should do is start with how to search B-roll. And I'm telling you because I have done this, or how to shoot B-roll. I've done this, how to shoot B-roll. And I watch Peter McKinnon. I'm like, no, you've got a B-roll video, but you're shooting a cinematic sequence. I don't want a cinematic sequence. I get what he's doing, and yes, can a cinematic sequence be B-roll? Yes. but that's not what I was looking for. So then I went on, and then I found Matty Hapoya, and then I found David Schiffer, and then I found, until I think I finally got over to, it might have been Dan Mace with like Kinotika, either him or
What?
Yeah, it was like 15 down the road, or not Dan Mace, not what am I thinking of? Not Dan Mays.
Like Dan
Mace
for cinema or for B-roll?
Mace, but it was like 15 people down the road before I finally saw someone, and they came out and they're like, okay, so you're trying to record a video and you've got to highlight some things, but you want some B-roll to show what it is you're talking about. And I'm like, yes, that's B-roll. And then he's like, here's how you do it and how you make sure you get enough of it. Thank you. And it was like, then I found my video, but I had to watch a dozen before I got there.
Which one's that one, Trey? Deductive or inductive? I always forget.
Let's
Let me tell you.
You and your $15 words. So, I don't know. But
I saw Trey and somebody else having a conversation about inductive and deductive types of whatever. I don't remember what platform that was on. Types of communication, like sermon styles. And
yeah,
whatnot.
I can't remember either.
Yeah. You like the style, which I like as well, but I tend to go into the weeds and kind of loosen people from time to time. But it's like you like the style where you start off saying, this is what you're going to get out of this video, or here are the 3 steps. Let me talk you through the 3 tips. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. The other style is a little less, because you're a teacher, a little less educational, a little bit more experiential of hop into this environment with me, and we are going to come out the other side, Lord willing, and double back around through the trees and then come out to the clearing, and we're going to see what all this was about.
I like both. It depends on what I'm looking for. If I'm specifically looking for something, I want to know what it is I'm going to get.
So is all evergreen content in that style?
No.
This is what you're looking for in the first 5 minutes of YouTube?
No. Not all evergreen content is like that. Think about Casey Neistat. You want to know how to vlog. One of Casey Neistat's best videos is how to vlog like Casey Neistat. And it is not, hey, here, I'm going to teach you. No, he starts off every vlog like he would normally do. You got his little time lapse and drone footage of the city he's in, and then he's doing this little task and he's doing that little task, and 4 minutes into it, all of a sudden he gets to the meat, but he's taking you along this journey. And at least with Casey Neistat, now he's built up the credibility that I know he's going to deliver. He's not giving me clickbait. So if he said he's going to do this, if this was the title, somewhere through there, I'm going to see the title. And he does use cute titles. So it aren't always as searchable. But that one is a searchable title. And it's one that, as he led me on, I still got it and I still enjoyed it. And it's actually one of my favorite ones on how to vlog. And he does a lot of stuff like that, where it's like a teaching segment inside a vlog. Hey, there goes Flower. She just jumped up on the couch, the chair. See that? Look at that. Oh. I didn't even know she was in here.
I can't hear her paws. Her little...
no tippy-tappy in here. We got carpet. So that's kind of where, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So here, Jason's popping in here. He says, once you watch those videos, YouTube will start putting smaller creators in front of you. And this is absolutely true. And I'm glad he said this, because this is the other part.
4 million.
Yeah, this is part of it. Yes. And he has watched 4 million AS or A7S3 videos. I have probably watched 4,000 at this point. Not quite as many, but a lot. But that's the thing. When you're searching for things, all of a sudden, YouTube says, okay, you're looking for this. And either 1, you enjoyed it, or 2, you didn't find what it was you're looking for. Let us help you with more. And they're going to keep pushing that. And it's not just YouTube, but Google does that as well. And so that's the thing that I think just understanding some keywords and titles will really help. I'm still learning this. I'm still figuring this out. but I have
So
started to
you
figure
don't
out.
subscribe to the steak and the sizzle approach. Steak, this is what this video is about. Sizzle, and it's gonna blow your mind. You've never had, whatever, a video like this.
What do you mean?
You're saying evergreen should be descriptive of what it is. It is what it is, so people can find it.
I think that's the best way of doing it. I think there are always exceptions to the rule, and it's those that have a huge platform and they're just going to create the content and then they're going to get the views anyways. But I think if you're really giving somebody a specific value inside it, yes, I think that that's the best way of doing it. And we can look at, I kind of did that with last week's vlog when I said, should Christians wear masks? That was a vlog. It wasn't, in this episode, I'm giving you my 10 commandments for wearing a mask, and it all starts right now. No, I didn't do that with it. Instead, it was just a vlog. I just started going beyond the day, and then all of a sudden we're leaving because of the remodel, and I've got my mask, and I'm like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity for me to pull out these 10 commandments. I've been trying to figure out how to do a 10 commandments on face mask video. Let's do it like this. But then that was kind of what I thought would be a searchable meat section. So I put that as the title. And that way I know if people are searching for that, I answer that. It gets answered in there. Maybe not in the format and the style they want, but that's just a stylistic preference. And I'm okay if they don't like it. And they're like, oh, I didn't want this. I just wanted you to come right out the gate. Why'd you have to wait so long? Deuces.
Yeah.
It's like,
thanks for stopping by with all your encouragement.
So
you were here to learn.
But I think the same thing can be, for sermons. Like here, I'll give you this one that I'm actually going to. It's going to be a little bit searchable. I think I'm going to do this. I'm about 90% sure that towards the end of the year, I'm going to do a 2020 vision message or series. And because, hey, 2020, vision is 2020. But I'm actually going to put a little spin on it. And anybody that hears this and wants to do it themselves, by all means, take this. It's not mine. God gave it to me, so take it. I'm going to title this, like the series is Hindsight is 2020. And the searchable term is what Christians should learn or what Christians should have learned through COVID-19. And then I'm basically going to discuss some of the big theological and spiritual issues that we as Christians had to face and had to deal with in 2020. And now, being on the end of 2020, what did we learn? What did we see? And how can we use that moving forward? And I think that's a way that I can sit there and frame it so it's searchable. What Christians should learn, what Christians should know. Lessons from COVID-19, the spiritual condition, any of those kind of terms, things, like that. I think that'll start to frame it in such a way that people can and would possibly search for that. And we can only do the best that we can, but we have to also kind of trust the Google and YouTube machine. They want people to see videos that people want to see. And so if you haven't found by searching what you're looking for, YouTube and Google, they're going to keep throwing stuff at you and say, is this what you want? Is this what you want? Is this what you want? And they're going to give it to you until you find it. And then once you find it, they now have enough data to figure out, okay, he searched this, but he actually wanted this. We'll remember that next time he searches for this or something similar. He may want something like this. That's my take on it for both sermons, YouTubing. I think we put too much focus on we have to get this perfect. I have to have the perfect keyword. I have to have the perfect tags. I have to have the perfect title. No. I think one of the things I've heard a lot of the YouTube creators, the big YouTube experts, Sean Cannell, Daryl Eves, Tim Schmoyer, Roberto Blake, all of these guys that have really been talking. And the one thing they're saying over and over again is the YouTube algorithms are geared and aimed at humans. And so they're looking for the human element. And so our titles need to be aimed at the human element. Our sermon titles should really be aimed at the human element. That's kind of what my thoughts are. That's what I'm thinking. My wife says, "Are you speaking to yourself about being perfect?" That's enough out of you, lady.
That's what I love about your family tuning in on the old podcast here. They
roast me.
Drop some bows from time to time. Boom.
Okay, so that was a long-winded explanation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just yes, and short format. Yes, thank you for that. I appreciated the long-winded rant. It helps things click.
Yeah, it's your style.
It's tough. Yeah, I love it. It's tough to figure out what works and what's going on whenever, like, for one of my videos, it's been out for 2-3 years, something like that, and it's just now beginning to click over. I can see it starting to uptick.
Yeah.
And it answers a pain point, answers a question that I thought people would be searching for 3 years ago. Well, it took 3 years to get the feedback on that bad boy, so you kind of have to really be making them and leaving them, making them and leaving them. And maybe going back Daryl Eves style, which I'm considering doing here in the next couple of days, and remaking the video, because the video is made with my face like this, all up in it.
Right.
It's a train wreck. It's a train wreck. And like you said, the flexibility of some of our opinions on things have changed over the last couple of years, and so maybe doing an updated video. Anywho, but for ministries, how do we? Not how do we? It is tough to. I find it tough. Let's talk about my YouTube channel. That way, it's not encompass everybody who doesn't agree with what I'm about to say. I find it difficult to come up with thumbnails and titles and do all of that balance rigmarole of what is enticing for the person to click on it, but what is evergreen, but what is built for a human, but also searchable online. That's where I get run out of juice.
No,
lose just the love and the zest of making something cool.
I hear you, and I think part of it is, we've talked about us being, creative, and I think part of that pain point is because we are so creative and we're focused on the video itself being the creative work. I've started to think about the thumbnail as being the creative work, and this has been, I dabbled with it a little bit. Towards the end of last year, thinking about, I want these to be more creative, to the point that I started looking at Netflix thumbnails and what jumped out at me. What did I see? And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like how they did that. And so I started to do that. And then even in my new style of thumbnails, the same thing. It's like, I want this to look creative. Now, Vlog Pastors Podcast, those thumbnails, we still need a little bit of work. You and I need to make a lot more funny faces so we can have more creative freedom with that. But as far as my other thumbnails, I'm actually now enjoying thinking about, okay, I want the video to look like this. What would be a title that might work? Now, today's vlog, that was a cute title because the first half of it was cute title. I think it's titled, I bought a plant -YouTube home studio remodel, maybe. Something like that. I don't know. And so part of it had that searchable term. The other part didn't have the searchable term. And so I was able to use cute and effective at the same time. But I wanted the thumbnail, if they see the thumbnail and they're like, what is that? That's kind of cool looking. Has he got SpongeBob in his hands? What is that thing? And then they look over at the title and they're like, oh.
Literally what I thought.
Yeah, it's a studio remodel. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's see what's going on there. That's kind of where, if they do that, I'm looking at that whole thing as now part of the creative process too, where just like my videos, I'm kind of thinking ahead. What is this going to look like? What would be a good backdrop? What would all of this look? And then there's some of the stuff that, just like then my videos, there's an editing format and a style. Some of it's cookie cutter that I just add in. And like today's thumbnail was the fastest thumbnail that I think I have ever done. It was really quick because all I did was just grab the tripod, set it up here, drop the camera. You're looking at those two chairs, hold that thing up, and it's just like, here it is. But that was thinking creatively, and if it's going to be, I bought a plant type of a deal, here's a way that might work. Here's a way that might explain it. And with the other part of it being YouTube studio remodel, people that were familiar with my channel, they're going to be looking back at the old studio, seeing that gray wall, seeing the shelves that kind of wrapped into the corner with my little lounge chair, and it's really kind of dark. And when I threw lights on it, it was purple and stuff like that. But with this one, I needed to even highlight the remodel. You know, I needed to highlight the remodel in the background to be able to do that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking when it comes to these things. We need to be thinking a little bit more about the creative process for those of us that are creative. And if we can start to incorporate the title, if we can start to incorporate the thumbnail, if we can start to incorporate all of that stuff in the creative process, it doesn't become YouTube work. Does that make sense?
Work.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love this. I love this like publicly televised counseling session I'm having right now. I'm getting ready to jump. I'm going to jump ships. Yeah.
That's all right. Henry saying, definitely answers my question, and thank you guys. His question was, you bring up a great point. How can vlogging help my ministry? How can it help me? That may have answered it. Have you got anything that you would add to that question? Even more specifically, how can vlogging help his ministry, and how can it help him?
Man, here's my big deal on vlogging, which we're getting ready to talk about in the next couple of weeks with the vlog pastors. But I think anytime other believers can, and even non-believers can, have a peek behind the scenes of what a Christian's life looks like, how they interact with their God, what their faith looks like expressed behind, like, hey brother, how are you this week? Oh, good to see you. Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho, hey ho. I don't know if all churches do that, but the secret handshake and the slaps on the backs and the things, the pleasantries that we extend to one another. Yeah, what does it look like when things fall down and melt apart? I think, or what does it look like when you celebrate birthdays? What does it look like whenever you redecorate your home? What does it look like when you try to reach the world via online mediums? What does it look like? Anytime you can share more of that, I think the whole world needs to be saturated with the Christian message, unless you suck, and then don't. Sure, bad witness. Then never mind. Everything I just said, forget.
Amen.
I've been hanging out with you and Jason Mayfield too long now. Hey, dip that in a little Southern honey and we'll be good.
That was perfect.
But Henry, you don't suck, so you're good to go, man.
Right.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think the world needs to be seeing more behind the scenes. I think vlogging is a perfect way of showing behind the scenes. If I were to use a little bit of what I've heard Trey Van Camp say, is that vlogging is kind of like letting people see your life as well as hear your lips. So it's about the life and lips aspect of it. And I think too often Christians, all we want to do is preach. We just want to be heard, but we don't want to be seen. Because when we're seen, all of a sudden, they might see that we're kind of hypocritical, which then means we have to start to modify what it is we're preaching. And I think that vlogging, in the style that we consider vlogging, you know, where it's like really life interaction type of deal, I think that is the great equalizer, because it instantly forces you to kind of humble yourself and say, you know what, I'm showing. So now I need to make sure that what I'm telling is lining up with that. Right. And I think it knocks off a layer of public pastoral ministerial polish that needs to be knocked off, where we're not so prim and proper. Because a lot of times, and I've had this, and you get this in ministry, where you're doing some mentorship, some discipleship, some counseling, whatever you want to call it, whatever it looks like to you, when you're having those one-on-one moments of taking somebody through a pain point, when they can start to relate to you and understand that, wait, you've gone through this too. Now all of a sudden your success and what you're saying matters more to them. It's like the fact that I know that Scripture says that Jesus was tempted in every way that we were tempted, but yet he didn't succumb to that temptation. That right there shows me that there is a better way. And I understand now when Scripture says that he cares for me, that it's like, he does care because he knows what I'm going through. He's been there. He's actually walked more than a mile in my shoes. And so at that point, it's like, all right, now I don't just have to take his word for it. I can take his life for it. I think that then becomes us being examples of Christ, where we can show people, yes, is it okay for you to be a professional wrestling fan and a Christian?
Well, here's the deal. Let's take David, for example. That's what I love about the Word of God.
OG vlogger.
The OG vlogger. If you just knew David, he was a king and he did such and such, or that he wrote a few psalms, you wouldn't know the heart cry. Dude is savage from time to time. He's hyper emotional. Do you think he really wanted all those things pinned down about what went down with Bathsheba and her husband? But it's so relatable.
Yeah.
It helps you know that, oh man, I screwed up bad, but yet God is still with me. It just, if you're a lead pastor in particular, and you have that distance between yourself and the congregation, you're the guy, you're the one, you're the mouthpiece. It really helps break down walls, I've found, because you can say, look, my life is lived out online in mass. Anything you can find it.
Yep.
You know that I'm not perfect. Or when the congregation says, I want more, how do I apply this to my life? Well, go online and check out. This is how Jesse and I are doing it every day. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram or check out some of our YouTube videos where we talked about how to pray with your family, how you lean on your spouse from time to time. All sorts of that stuff.
Yep.
How you get through tough times.
Yeah.
It's a real tool, Henry. It's a real tool, man.
I think
Not
it is.
Just messages. It's a real tool.
Yep, absolutely. And if you sit there and you think about, let's put this in a generational context. You want to know why social media influencers are more popular with the younger generation than celebrities are? It's because they're relatable. Do you want to know why celebrities are now jumping on social media in droves? Because they realize it's the only way for them to reach the next generation and to keep their fame. It's by being relatable. So if they're all doing it, why? And here's the thing, that it's like, guys like us, like Jarrod and I, like Jason, like Trey, pastors like us that are saying, hey, pastor, hey, minister, get on social media and start reaching this generation. Do it, and do it now. We've been saying that for years. And now Hollywood's doing it. Are we finding another case where the church has not jumped on as soon as they could? And are we leaving this void and this vacuum for voices that really shouldn't be speaking into the generation to now speak? We've got the right message. We know the source of true freedom, of true love, of true grace, mercy, truth, happiness, peace. We know him. We have a personal relationship with him, and we would want nothing more than to have other people have that same relationship. They don't want to hear what you have to say because they can't relate to you. Break down the walls. Vlog. Be real. Don't go so to the extreme that you start to look more like Hollywood and then, the church. And by that, I mean in the style that you're doing, or maybe some of the exposure that you're given. I mean, make sure that at least what you're doing all things as you do it unto the Lord. And he's our primary audience. But we've got that, like John Stallings is saying right here, we've got the right message.
We
they
got
just
the right stuff,
yeah,
baby.
in the middle of an Oreo. Oh wait,
And
that's white stuff.
It's as easy as this,
Yeah.
Henry. It's as easy as this right now.
Yep.
Boom. What'd you do today? I sat on a call with you guys. That's
Yeah.
you. And Joshua. Bam.
Yep.
A
And now
little
that's going to
snippet.
go on his Instagram story. I mean, you see how simple that is. Which, if you're not following Jarrod on Instagram,
Oh yeah. I got
Look
a
right
little
there.
thing down there. Yeah.
Bite of Brownie Productions. Check him out on Instagram.
Dude, you're so cool.
He-
Look at
he's-
all this stuff.
He's active. You're
Hey.
becoming more active than me, which I mean on Instagram isn't saying too much, but
My wife said this is ridiculous. You're a creative person. Just show the transitions, just the pieces of the day that
Yep.
kind of like what I was saying to you, Henry. Like this is when you're thinking about it. Josh was talking about it. Whip out your camera, get you a little picture, a little story about it. So here we are. But for all you guys who were saying, "Oh my gosh, your live stream looks amazing," if you made it this far in the podcast, this is not my live stream. So please don't ask me questions. I didn't set up all this awesomeness right here. This is not me. This guy. I'm hanging out.
what guy?
The guy.
Part of it's
wait.
you.
Look right here, JoshuaVerwers.com. Come check him out for merch. Hey, check that out. Seriously, though, you're wearing your shirt today, aren't you?
I am wearing my shirt.
Boom.
See that? See that? Look at that. Look at that. You need to get one of these.
I've got so many nice comments about my face mask. I wear that thing all the time right now.
Do you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
It's like a conversation starter. Dude, where'd you get that? Well, JoshuaVerwers.com.
Let me tell you about it.
One time.
That is awesome. Although, speaking of which, while you say that, I think I should probably record a little bit of a video there. So,
See? Easy as that. Easy peasy. What do we have in the comments? I just accidentally minimized my...
so we have the one and only, the queen of white chocolate, Diana Gladney. Howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy. Good
Hey,
to see
Diana.
you, Diana. And then Genevieve is saying, I struggle to go live,
Why?
seeing no evil. You know
Why?
why? I will tell you why. I'm going to tell on
Tell me
my
why.
wife right here, live on the internet, and the only recourse she
I've
has
seen
to
you
this,
live.
she
Why?
has two recourses for this. The two recourses are, one, she types a reply back that I may or may not put on the screen, or two, she walks through that door and smacks me upside the back of the head.
Genevieve, just let him get it out. We gotta
So,
know. Quick.
Here
quick.
is why. And this why is not just for her. This why is for all of you people out there. You want to know why you're afraid to go live? Because you think you got to be as good as me.
Okay.
I-
Okay.
I know that sounded a little arrogant, but
All right, Dad.
Jared is just sitting
Really,
there,
man.
and Jared is
Really,
just
man.
sitting there. He's sitting there and saying, you know what?
Dad.
If you see this live, it's not me. It's this guy here. It's this guy.
Dad,
Well,
come get.
you know what? And this is the thing. Genevieve's actually told me this. She has a hard time doing the videos and going live when she is in. Look, I'm pulling up her comment. She says true. She says true. True. Yes, Henry, wow on that, but it is true. And the reason is we all do this. It's called the comparison trap.
Yep.
And what we are often doing is we are looking at somebody else's highlight reel and comparing it to our behind the scenes, which is why I like doing vlog, because now I'm showing you some of the behind the scenes. And for those of you that jump on these live streams at the beginning, you see I tried to go live and it failed, and then I had to go back to go live. This isn't a seamless thing. It takes work. It takes
and
a
there's
lot of
also-
mental power.
There's something that we can learn from that. I say we can because Genevieve, I'm like you as well. I'm not gonna do a live stream. I'm not gonna. When I go live in church, I go live to our group because I'm afraid of the polished look. I'm afraid. I hate that. I'm not gonna live in fear. What we can learn from people like Joshua and the Jason Mayfields of the world is that they just do, man. They just do it. Oh man, I failed. Okay, I'm gonna hit send. hit play again.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Oh man, I failed again. That was worse than last time. Let's hit play again. Where people like you are like, we should probably not do that because we're not as good as Joshua. No, play, send. Here we go. Let's do it. You and me, Genevieve, we're going live.
Yep.
We're gonna start doing lives.
Yep. Apparently, my mom's calling me out. It's not just for you guys, and it's not just for Jen. It's apparently for me too. Which I will admit, some of that is true. There are a lot of things that I do that I am hesitant on doing because it's not to the quality that I would expect. And I see other people doing that. But she's also saying, I'm comparing myself to myself, and I'm always wanting to be better.
Yeah.
Which is also true. Like I said at the beginning, we're not uploading our sermons video wise from the church. Why? Because I have created this bar. Nobody else. I created this bar. Everybody at our church would be perfectly fine with what Jarrod was talking about earlier of just setting a camera up and going. I guarantee they would. I'm not good with that. And that's the joy of me being the lead pastor. I'm calling the shots on it.
I do what I want.
But at the same time, anybody in our church could really pull out their own phone and stream it to their Facebook. I don't really care. But most don't do that. And I appreciate them for not doing that. But does that mean we should stop? No. So what I'm doing is something in addition. I'm doing something different. I'm not saying I'm not doing anything at all, but I'm doing what I can do. What can I do to the level of excellence I'm comfortable with? And where can I make that happen? So for people that are sitting there and they're struggling to go live, honestly, stories is one of the best places to do it. You just hit record and you record yourself talking real quick and then upload it. And it's a story. That means it's gone in 24 hours. You don't have to worry about it. If you had an epic failure, guess what? About 5 people are going to watch it and then they're not going to see it after that. So whatever. But we will we'll let the comparison trap paralyze us. It's, what did I hear somebody? It's like that perfectionism paralysis. And that's the thing. We will do that to the point that we don't
make anything.
We don't. And we won't do anything. And I've been there and I've done that. And a lot of it comes when I'm trying to make something new, try something new. And it's like, I don't want to try that yet because of this, that, and the other thing. Diana had said, we're right on this. She says, how many conversations have we had about gear? And hours testing and trying to get to this point. That's the other part of this, Diana. And it's like, Jarrod, you just mentioned, if people are watching this and they're like, how do you get your live stream to look that good? How do you get it to do that? And you're like, oh, it's this guy. Yes, but even a couple weeks ago, you said, Jarrod, I don't even look like a vlogger. If you look at my YouTube channel, I look like a live streamer. Because I've done so much of it.
I did no harm in that, by the way.
You did, and I'm still salty. No, but I
He's
did.
only mentioned it a couple times this week. I'm just.
I did actually. I sent Jarrod a message the other day, and I was kind of blasting him on this because I was like, "You say I'm not a vlogger." I actually went through
the numbers,
all of my videos to get the numbers. All of my videos I have done in the last couple years, 64 live streams. 64 live streams.
Come on, that wasn't the end of it.
And 106 vlogs.
Okay.
I think that's with the latest one. I think I told you 105, and now it's been 106.
There we go.
Almost by the
Still
time
counts.
It's going to be double
month,
that by the end of August.
What was it in the last 3 months?
We're not talking about that.
Okay.
We're not talking about that. I did concede because what did I think I actually gave you that. Yes, in the last month, and this was before today's, since April, I had uploaded 3 vlogs, 1 talking head video, and 31 live streams. So you think about that, that's the other part of it. I've done 64 live streams, but 31 of them have been in the last few months. And when you do that much of any one thing, you have no choice but to sharpen your skills. I go back and I look at my first vlog, then looking at my first vlog after I had done Vlogmas, world of difference. World of difference, because all of a sudden I got into a workflow, I got into the editing, I started to really develop the style, I was able to up the production quality and figure out what can I do that matches with the other stuff. Are there still things I would like to do to improve this live stream? Absolutely. But quite frankly, man, this live stream is good. And I understand it's good. It is really good. And it's better than 90% of them out there. But.
All right, Deb.
But I still want to improve. And I'm not going to let the fact that even though my quality may be here and I want it to be here, I'm not letting that gap prevent me from doing anything. And so for any of us that are doing anything, I would rather you pull a Jarrod Brown, a Pastor Jarrod, and set a phone up 15 feet away from you with no microphone than do nothing at all.
Say it. Say it. There you go. There you go.
However.
There you go.
No, I'll leave it at that. I would. And that's for all Christians out there. Put something out there. Just put something out there. And please, for the love of all that is holy, be encouraging. There's enough negativity in this world. Stop adding to it. Anyways. Jen says that she's boring and overthinking what people are going to think of you. You are not boring.
Number one, you are not boring at all. You're married to that Yahoo. Just talk about the crazy pants things that goes on all day.
She could have a whole series of just being the day in the life of a vlog pastor's wife.
Yeah.
And then be like, and she's done that. Honestly, some of the funniest things that I've seen, and this isn't me, because I was on camera. No, some of the funniest things that she's done is she's gotten behind the scenes videos of me doing crazy things. And it's like, really? And then for her to say, you know what? This is what I put up with. This is what I have to deal with. You know, it's just.
It could be a whole channel in and of itself, or a whole live genre in and of itself.
It could be hilarious. It could be the recurring guest in your live streams, kind of like Diana Gladney is always talking about white chocolate because it is the best chocolate. I agree with you, Diana. No.
We're going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
Nope. Okay, Jared's off the channel. He's off.
Nope, here we go.
Boom. He's gone.
From the top.
He's gone.
You can't silence me.
You want to bet?
See what I'm talking about? See what I got to deal with? This would be one of those moments,
right.
Genevieve.
So a couple other comments here I want to get to real quick. Diana saying, I have a quality baseline, but then too, that's after how many videos we've all done to get to this point. Sure. Really nice quality gets easier over time. Yes and amen. Which, by the way...
I think this is a personality deal. We won't dive into it, but I've made 200 odd videos, and I think there's a law of diminishing returns because I don't really think my videos have gotten really any better.
Your quality has gotten better.
100 or so.
Your quality has gotten so much better. Dude, your quality, I guarantee your quality has gotten better because I remember one of the things you and I talked about when we first started, because you had asked me, and I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way. I hope this doesn't come across as me being...
Let's do this. We're ready.
Yeah, people are going to listen to me patting myself on the back so much.
Do this. Get it.
And it's like, I just know how some people are going to take this.
I cannot wait to hear what this is.
So, Jarrod, you and I, one of the first times after we really started working with each other, and I think it was in the middle of Vlogpaster Season 1, that we had done some behind-the-scenes stuff. You know, you and I just live streaming and talking with each other, or not live streaming, Zooming, Skyping, whatever. And you had asked, what are some things that you thought, or I thought you could work on? And one of the first things I told you was audio levels. Mm-hmm. Because your audio levels were off. Some of it was too quiet in the dialogue, too high on the music. The sound design was just a little bit off. And that was one of the first things I told you. And like that, you fixed it. Like, it was like that. And it is infinitely better. Not that it was horrible by any means, but it was one of those areas of improvement that you made. Your thumbnail game has improved. And again, you're the type of person that you know that there are people that know what you don't know, or that they can see what you can't see. And so you'll ask other people that you're sitting there and you're looking at them and saying, you know what, in one or two areas, they may be a little bit farther than me. And so let me ask them what they have, which is something I just recommended to another Christian YouTuber yesterday. People are wanting feedback on their channels. Find somebody that is right around where you're at, or maybe a little bit farther than where you're at in your mind, and then ask them if they'll review your stuff, just to take a look at it. Because oftentimes they'll see some of the simple, easy things that you can do, that you can fix, that you just hadn't thought about. And that's, so yes, your videos, your quality has improved. I've watched a ton of them. It has improved.
Fascinating. I don't necessarily see it to my eye. I will take your word for it because I trust you and I trust your friendship. You wouldn't lead me astray, would you? No. But I would say this to those of you who are earlier on or just thinking about YouTubing, live streaming, whatever, is to find a group of friends and who do the same thing and ask them, pick their brains, kind of like the whole vlog pastors thing. I'm getting ready to send Joshua and Diana. I'm going to send you guys my next row of thumbnails. I'm going to have you guys pick out thumbnails and tell me what I'm doing wrong, and they seem to enjoy that. They haven't told me no yet.
Yep.
Just little things, because I like that whole audio deal. I had no idea that you listen to audio with your eyes, not your ears, and I'm not going to give that little secret away, but it was like, what?
Yeah.
Crazy pants.
Yep.
I thought you just put in a pair of earbuds, and if it didn't blow your brains out, you're good to go.
Nah. I use my eyes, and the main reason and I'll just let people know, the main reason I use my eyes is because these sound different from those speakers, and it sounds different from this, and it sounds different from my Bluetooth. They all sound a little bit different. Some of them emphasize the highs, the lows, the mids, the bass. All of it's different. And so I figure the best way that I can do is just kind of find a set standard. And I even go so far that I want to limit YouTube's audio processing. So I have done a ton of research to find out the LUFS value that YouTube prefers to push out, which is like the audio normalization level and max loudness. And then I have went in and hacked my Premiere Pro code so that when I hit auto match loudness, it automatically levels it to that volume. So I don't have to do anything.
This is why we need friends, because one, I didn't do any of that research. I come along and say, hey, Joshua, what's the LUF level that it needs to be set at? Thank you, sir. We're good to go. Let's rock.
Negative 14 LUFS for YouTube, negative 16 LUFS for podcasting. That's Apple's standard. So, although if you think that Spotify is now taking over, I think Spotify actually likes negative 13 LUFS. But I'm still going with negative 16 because I know that Apple will reject some of them. And I don't want to go too loud. And by the way, the lower or closer to zero, the louder it is. And by the way,
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Premiere Pro likes to start you out at negative 23 LUFS, which is just really quiet. So, anyway, that's all of that. And Diana's saying, I judge with my ears and then I double check it with my eyes, which is a good one. Yeah. And honestly, a lot of them now I've just kind of got preset, like any of my background music when it's playing, but not in the background. Here's just another little tip. My music volume. If you think my sound sounds good, and if you think, you know what, he's talking and then the music kicks in and it's not blaring to the point I got to crank the volume down. If that's the case and you don't think it's that loud, I'm basically going in and just doing the gain at negative 6 decibels on every single song I have. And that's what it is starting out the gate. And then when I'm doing the audio ducking, I put it at 18 decibels below what the speaking is. Although I haven't done much audio ducking lately. Part of it's just because I'm getting the Casey Neistat feel and influence of just, I start talking and the music stops. And that's the way I like it. So I don't have to think about it. But anyway, that's it. Hey, Diana's right with me. She says, yes, I think I saw negative 12 or negative 13 for Spotify. Laugh out loud. See, Diana's with me.
I love it when we geek it up.
She likes geeking it out. Okay, so Diana says, I want to come on live and chew into Jarrod and tell him how great and meaningful his content has been. Diana, do you want to do that? If you want to do that, do you know, hey, you've got Skype, right, Diana? Do I have Diana on Skype? Diana, send me a message. I'll try to dial you in on Skype.
Don't let Diana scold me.
I'll try to dial you in on
when
Skype.
When she tears in, man.
I'll do it. I'll pull Diana
there's no
in.
letting go. No,
Diana on Skype.
It's okay. I learned my lesson. Diana, I learned. I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Nope. We're gonna do this. We're gonna try this.
Let me just say for the record, you don't want to be scolded by Diana. She goes on a tirade, and then she's gonna start from the top and just, and they're all true. It's all true. Everything she says is true. Mostly except for Sony stuff.
Hey, Diana, send me an Instagram message of your Skype email address real quick, and I'm going to dial you up, and then we're going to pull you in. We're going to test Ecamm's functionality of pulling her in right off the bat. Let's see. I have got...
Diana versus We See It. I got you, Diana. Okay. Let's come live and chew. Judge of the years. Double check with my eyes.
I'm gonna figure this out. So, Jarrod, what else do we? While I'm doing that, what else do you want to? Do we need to talk about?
Man, I think we covered it. I think we covered it today. I do want to encourage anybody who is on the edge, like a Henry. Henry, you're making good stuff, man, for the church. Keep making it. Make it for yourself too. Like, not for yourself, but in conjunction with the church. You get what I'm saying? Just expand the testimony. So whenever I come across Henry, I look at your stuff, I look at your vlogs, look at your whatever it is that you're producing, go, man, where does that guy go to church? What does that guy do? How does that guy, he's obviously a faithful dude who's being poured into from somewhere. Trust me, people do that. People go, where do you go? Where did this wealth of information or knowledge come from? Where did this spiritual connection come from? How is it shaped and formed? And if you hint at any of that stuff, people are going to chase that rabbit hole. I do. I'm curious. You know what I want to know? I'll tell you what I want to know right now, since I've got the spotlight. I want to know where Jason Mayfield gets his spiritual food. Where'd he go to church? I don't know. I haven't dove that deep yet. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. It's going to be on a deep dive here in the very, very near future. I know that Diana Gladney's tied in pretty well with her folks. She helps her pastor out make all sorts of crazy stuff because we care about that sort of thing. I don't know. It's just humanness, man. Just want to encourage anybody out there who is looking to make vlogs, looking to make some of that behind the scenes content, make it. Genevieve, you and me, girl, we need to make that stuff. We need to make more of it. And the further down the rabbit hole you go, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, the better for me. If I find your vlog, I want to find out if you're on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, I want to see your stories. If your stories push me to something else, something shorter, some Snapchat, I'm going to chase you down to Snapchat. If you're an entertaining and a personality that I happen to connect and jive with. Yeah. So, encouragement.
Awesome.
That's all I got, man.
I'm struggling trying to get this up and going, so we may not be able to get her because for some reason my Skype doesn't want to add when I'm just clicking Diana's link. And then, of course, Facebook.
Diana, I hear you.
I'm blaming this on the Mac. That's what I'm blaming it on.
I would really love to have you on the live stream.
Ooh, maybe I shouldn't allow Diana in on this because then all of a sudden
I'm a little scared.
She's going to start roasting me on Mac and stuff like that, and it's like, no.
Wait a minute. Let's think this through.
Diana's a Mac.
No rash decisions here.
Diana's all Mac, and you know what? Mac is meh. Mac works meh. That's my whole thing on Mac. Period. Is meh, meh, meh.
Oh my goodness.
Everything Mac is meh.
You better get your A7S3 questions ready to go.
Oh, now A7S3 on the other hand.
Whoever's in the chat.
That's what we should be wondering. Jarrod, when are you actually going to abandon?
Says, I'm only Facebook and Instagram. No YouTube for me. Okay. Leave that to Joshua. Hey, that's your zone, girl. That's Jessie. She hates YouTube. Does not understand the point of it. Doesn't know why people waste their time watching extended videos. She does not dig it. She loves Instagram, Snapchat. She'll dabble on Facebook a little bit, but mainly those two.
So,
But still,
Jarrod,
Yeah.
when are you going to abandon canon?
You guys aren't gonna let me. So that's all we have for you today, guys.
When are you going to abandon canon?
Stay blessed. Enjoy God's best. And have a good day. There we go. Whoop! End scene. The little bars come down. The music plays. All upbeat. So we know that we had a good time. Vlog pastors. Yeah.
All right, guys. It has been long enough. We'll save Jarrod's scolding and rant and his Sony Switch until next week. Have a good one.